name's Emily LaRosa, and my product was fondant. I made these cakes over here, which are covered in fondant, and I used cookie cutters to cut out the different shapes on all three. These are real cupcakes that have fondant flowers that you use punches and tools to like make the shapes and layer them. And this is a police box and two people, all made out of fondant, and this one has styrofoam to keep it square.
How long did it take you to make all this?
These like took a few hours, but these were the longest and took like 5 hours each. So, yeah, gets easier once you start doing it.
My name's Seamus Guillen. I take culinary arts here at Tri-County. For my project, I did meat preservation. I made a terracotta smoker with 2 terracotta pots. I made beef brisket, which you see in the front, and Atlantic salmon. I also made beef jerky, which I made in a Bot dehydrator. I marinated them in barbecue sauce, teriyaki sauce, and buffalo sauce, and everything you see is absolutely delicious.
Hello, my name's Craig Maloney. I'm from the Facilities Management Program here at Tri-County. And for my senior project, I built a charcoal grill. The grill body is made out of a 1/8-inch sheet of steel. It's all out of the same piece. And as you can see on the inside, all the pieces I've laid out on the forge. Excuse me, my friend's project is a forge. On the sheet, and then it was cut out using the hydraulic shear. Then from there, it was all tacked together, and I welded solid along all of the edges. From there, I then ground down all of it, rolling it over, giving it like a factory stamped look. That way, it looks like it came off of a production line. It's something that you could buy in a store. The main body of the grill and the stand are 2 separate pieces. The grill lifts off, makes it easier to transport in like a bed of a truck or the back of a car, and you don't have to worry about it tipping over or strapping it down to make sure it doesn't shift. The table pieces are made out of an African mahogany. They're African mahogany you can't really find anymore. It's more the rare species of wood because when they did it, it was all clear cut. And so the trees that are growing now, they won't be ready for lumber for another 50 to 75 years. So on the inside of the grill, these cooking grates came out of a Coleman camp stove. The entire grill design was based around these grates to fit. They all just lift right out, and there's the charcoal tray in the bottom that holds all the charcoal. The ash just falls through, and it can be dumped out in the end. Right here, the vent hole in the top was cut out using a plasma torch and then filed all the edges down in order to make it smooth, get all the burrs out. And that's pretty much everything. The whole grill was painted in a high heat resistant paint. It's rated for about 1,400 degrees Fahrenheit. That way it doesn't flake off and pollute the food.
My name's Josh Gingras. I'm enrolled in facilities management here at Tri-County. I do a jack of all trades, so I focus mostly on the metal fabrication aspect. What I did was I made a charcoal forge, and what this forge can do is when I heat it up or I light this thing up, I can suck in air from this bellows over here, and it comes in through the pipe, and it brings the temperature of this forge up to 1,800 to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which therefore I can take a piece of steel, bend it, shape it, mold it, whatever, or I can take soft metals such as aluminum, brass, gold, and melt it down and pour it in a mold of anything I want.
Hello, my name is Gregory LeBlanc, and I'm from Facilities Management. My project here is a water wheel that demonstrates affordability and effectiveness of hydroelectric power. Now, the reason why it's affordable is because this project itself only costed me about $5 the most. All I bought was this Tupperware product right here at Home Depot. Everything else was lying around my house. It comes from plywood, the bike chains, the PVC. I actually got this hand crank flashlight right here from Hasbro Incorporated. Now, before I begin my full demonstration, I'd just like to say that my wheel itself has become waterlogged over the course of the morning, so the water doesn't push it as much, so I can't fully show how it works. But I'll begin by showing my reservoir here. It's kind of hard to see here, but Under here is my reservoir, which basically just holds all my water. Inside is a sub pump that's submerged under the water. It cycles my water up through here, shoots it down this PVC trap through my addition. This addition made the water more powerful, so when it did hit my water wheel, it'd be more effective. Now, to my water wheel itself, it took me about 3 different tries to get it working fully properly. The first water wheel was about way too small when I made it, so it didn't generate enough power. My second water wheel didn't have the slits cut right enough, so my panels didn't line up right. So I finally came up with this product right here, and then I had to move on to my next step. How do I show hydroelectric power? My first idea was, can I power a small engine off this? Well, I could not. So I had to come up with an idea to show it, and my idea was to show hydroelectric power with this light right here. It's a hand crank Hasbro flashlight that I took the hand crank off and I attached a sprocket onto here using plywood. After that, I added a bike chain and a bike gear to my rod right here. So when this all is working properly, it turns this light on right here. To show effectiveness, I ran this thing for 5 minutes straight in the morning, and then I unplugged it and didn't touch it once. That light stayed on for an hour and a half. And that is my project.
Hello, my name's Andrew Kerr, and for my project I made a mini-scale model of a water slide. The foundation around the pool that's holding it up I made out of plywood, and my pool at home had ripped, so I was able to reuse the pool liner from my pool. I made the slide part out of different PVC fittings and pieces of PVC. Then I have my pump that I had to buy, but I added different parts to it so I could have it constantly flowing around and recirculating the water. I added blue food coloring to the water to make it a little bit darker. Now, one thing I didn't add to the project was I didn't add a filter, which a normal, you would find the filters on big, I'm drawing a blank right now. At amusement parks, yeah, you find it at amusement parks to take out the contaminants in the water, but I wasn't able to do it because it was a small model. Now, the one thing I wanted to do was to have something to be able to go down it to represent it. So I have this little ping pong ball to show how it is. And that's basically it.
My name is Cameron Dalton, and my project is desalinization. Desalinization is taking salt water from the ocean and turning it into fresh drinking water. It starts by an intake pipe in the ocean, which sucks up water into a reverse osmosis filter. It's basically a bunch of, it's almost like coffee filters. It basically takes the salt and sand and exhausts it back into the ocean, and the clean drinking water gets sent to a storage tank, and then to a booster station, and then off into fields, homes for drinking, for watering crops, for watering animals, and yes.
My name is Salmon. This is a fountain.
My name is Julie Cheneve, and I did my senior project on commercial interior design, and I made a miniature scale model of a coffee shop. Am I not talking? And then, yeah. And it took.
What made you want to do that?
I just liked building things ever since I was little, and I liked making little dollhouse figurines, but after this project, I don't think I want to do that anymore. About 80 to 100 hours, probably. Yeah, took a very long time.
Did you base any of this off of anything you've seen? Or?
Something you'd see in like Boston or Seattle, I don't know, where you'd have like the house on top and then the, store at the bottom. So like something in New York. Yeah.
So my name is Brent Medeiros, and for my senior project, I did claymation and stop motion. Claymation is the method of animation in making a plastic or clay figurine appear to walk and talk on its own through the process of video. This is Ralphie, my character, a character I created. He always imagines the worst out of every situation that comes to him, and his first day of high school is tomorrow, so he has a nightmare about it. Over here, I have a video that I made consisting of his nightmare. And it took me 4 weeks to make the video, 2 weeks to make the set. It took me 4 weeks because you're technically not even watching a video, you're watching a really, really fast slideshow containing 1,446 pictures in the 2-minute, 34-second video. So it's a very painstaking process.
I can imagine. So what's he doing there? Tell me about what's going on.
He's taking a test that he got that says big test, pass or flunk out of high school or become a deadbeat. So now he's really pressured, so he's trying to do it the best he can, but it's not going to work out for him.
What's he doing there? Is he taking the test there?
Yeah, he's reading all the questions.
All right.
Hello, my name is Kayla Empey, and I did my senior project topic on advertisement of social awareness. As you can see here, in order to promote my senior project topic, I created a fictional animal sanctuary called Finding Faith Animal Sanctuary, and I created a public service announcement, a poster, as well as designed a logo, and also created a stationery packet which consists of a brochure, envelope, letterhead, and a business card. Everything that you see here was completely made by me. I designed everything, and I also took all the footage that you see here on the commercial as well, and I edited it all together using iMovie.
Hi, my name's Kayla Hoyt. For my senior project, I studied child brain development. I learned that during the first 3 years of life, the brain development is most crucial. Because of this, the child learns not only language, but their vision develops. Along with this, it's the gross and fine motor, and they also learn sensory. So because of this, I created a sensory doll. The doll is completely hand-stitched using recyclable material. All of the doll has different sensory and aspects, including different fabrics with Velcro, along with different types of stuffing inside the doll. I also wrote, illustrated, and published a children's book. The entire story uses different aspects of learning, such as language development, including rhyming and repetition, along with alliteration. It also has different aspects of mathematics, including colors, counting, and shape association. Along with that, it incorporates, as the days go on, as the pages continue, the sun goes across the sky on the pages and eventually turns into a night sky, having the children count the stars and say goodbye.
My name's Edward Patel, and I've created a water-cooled computer. For a computer, normally you would have an air-cooled CPU and an air-cooled graphics card. In this system, I've replaced both of those inefficient ways of cooling with what's called a water block. A water block is basically how it sounds, with pushing water through past a piece of copper, which absorbs all the heat from the components themselves, puts it into the water. It brings it up to the top with a large radiator, dissipating the heat away from the system itself. The system is also cooled with these fans on a fan controller, allowing them to be turned down to almost silent, allowing this to have silent operations.
How dangerous is it to have water that close to...
It seems like a very dangerous idea, but the water never actually touches any of the components in it. It always touches a piece of copper that is in between the component and the water.
And that's it running right there?
Yep.
I'm Julia Martello, and my product was eco-friendly clothing. I made this dress out of organic hemp, and I dyed it with blueberries, blackberries, plums, and a pomegranate. And then I made this dress out of magazine pages, and I made a jacket out of Tyvek. This one. I also recycled yarn from an Afghan my sister was getting rid of. And then I used Kool-Aid to dye this yarn and these swatches. And then for these last swatches, I used an onion for this one, tea for the middle one, and coffee for the one over here.
Hi, I'm Peter Holyoke, and I made a slot machine game in the programming language C#. Cool. There's a 60% chance of losing, a 39% chance of winning, and a 1% chance to win the jackpot.
Hi there, my name is Tracy McDonough, and I'm working on the fire apparatus water cooling system. The fire apparatus is just another term for fire truck. And so what in turn it's supposed to be doing is supposed to be turning the room temperature water into a 32 degree Fahrenheit water around freezing point, so that it may cool the fire faster, allowing for it to be extinguished more efficiently and more and with less water.
How long did it take you to make that?
It took me about one whole week during my senior project week.
My name is Zach Machado, and what I did is basically build a video game through a software called Visual Basic. Now, what my senior project is on is a mixture of Pac-Man, the old maze game Cat and Mouse, and it's Mario themed. So basically, what you do is you move Mario with the arrow keys, and the objective is to get to here without touching these three objects. And if you touch them, they a pop-up appears saying that you touched them and you lost a life and you restart the level. And when you press OK, it restarts the level. There are 4 levels in total in the demo, and that's just basically pretty much what my video game is.
Well, my name is Nicholas West, and for my senior project, I designed a video game. So the game has 4 playable characters here. Each one has a different ability that they can use, mainly for offensive moves. Right now, I think I'll play as this one because it's one I'm most used to. It's kind of hard to hold this in the control at the same time, but basically...
You designed all the characters too?
Yep, all the graphics are original. So it's a basic side-scrolling platformer. Gotta use 2 hands for this, hold on. So you can interact with the rails in 2 ways. Holding up makes you latch onto them, and pressing the R button makes you glide across them.
Did you have any inspiration from other games for this, or
Yep. One of the big inspirations here was Mega Man games, specifically Mega Man X. That the wall climb comes directly from that game. I figured I'd add it because what I want to do is make a game that I would like to play, so I figure why not add elements of other games that I enjoy playing.
Cool.
So there are 2 mission modes here. The mission I'm playing right now is just get to the end. But if I go over on the keyboard and hit E, then there's a second mission to where you collect a bunch of objects. Not a lot of people have actually completed the first mission though, so I haven't really shown that one off.
My name's Adam Sobolinski, and for my senior project, I made a laser security system. So right here, you can see a box with a laser and a photocell right over here. The laser goes around, hits off these 3 mirrors, and comes back to this photocell. This photocell detects whether the beam is there or whether it's not there. It makes a perimeter around the house. And when the beam gets broken, the alarm will go off. So if you arm the system here, and then you break the beam, the alarm will go off. It's normally so that the alarm will stay on, but I have it set up so that as soon as your finger goes away from it, it'll turn off. So, just to make it easier, and so you don't have to reset it every 5 minutes. Probably like 60 or 70 hours, just with the house and the circuit. The circuit took a really long time, so.
Hello, I'm Steve Boudreau from Electrical at Tri-County. For my senior project, I did commercial fire alarm systems. My project right here is a simple representation of a fire alarm in a building. Right here I have the fire alarm panel, and over here I have a pull station, which everyone knows from every common area in a building. Now when the fire alarm is actually activated, the horn strobe and the strobe will tell everyone that there is a fire in the building. Some other interesting things about my project: I have a heat detector on the ceiling up here that will detect a rapid change of heat in a room and send the panel into alarm. This panel right here, the fire alarm panel, acts as the brain of the system. Everything that works goes through right here. These 2 batteries down here can run the panel for up to 24 hours after the power goes out. So a building can be protected for up to 1 day after a power failure. Now another thing I add into my project is this switch right here. It's shown to represent if somebody cut one of these red wires in a building. It will turn on this light right here and activate a really loud noise. I have it silenced right now. for very obvious reasons. And I have another very interesting thing that I added down here. This is a door closer down on the bottom. The front piece would actually be attached to a door. And when the fire alarm activates, the electromagnet in the door closer would de-energize and all the doors in the building would close to prevent further spread of a fire. And that's my senior project.
Hi, my name's Clay Paquin. I'm in the electrical shop at Tri-County, and my senior project is hydroelectric power. Hydroelectric power is the creation of electricity by water. As you can see, water is stored in the reservoir, and then inside of the dam, the penstock brings water from the reservoir down to the generators. Inside the powerhouse, there are several generators stored so that the electricity can be generated. This is an example of a generator. In dams, there can be several generators, for example, up to 16, so that the generators can be turned on and off at different times, depending on the time of day. Then when you turn on the water, you can see that the electricity is produced.
My name's Ashley Johnson, and I'm in automotive technology. I made automotive art as my senior project. I made an Alice in Wonderland scene, all out of automotive parts. I used pistons, valves, spark plugs, rocker arms, and a pivot assembly. I made a table out of sheet metal and valves, and I made a mushroom forest, all out of valves. When I was making them, they had no body shape, so what I did is I made styrofoam, cut them out to fit their bodies, and then put the clothes on top of it. That way I could still leave the back all open so you could see the different parts that I used to make it. And I painted all the faces on with toothpicks. And the hair, I took off of old Halloween wigs, wrapped it around pins, and pinned it into a styrofoam ball. So I made all the clothes myself and the wigs. And the mushroom forest, I actually painted them all one color and then dabbed on with a sponge another color so that they'd have texture to them.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Ryan Tatro.
I'm Victoria Stacy.
We're in auto collision repair, and these are our senior projects. Tori did her project on paint defects, and I did my project on custom paint and refinishing. If you look at the middle, I did a color changing paint, which changes at 86 degrees. And I'll just give you a quick. So as you can see, as I apply the heat, it turns a different color. So, I'll pass this on to Tori.
I did my project on paint defects, and it's what occurs when you paint a car on a vehicle if you don't clean your surface or anything. It's everything that could happen. For example, runs. It's when you add too much paint. And I'd say the other worst one is contamination, is when you don't clean your panel off at all. So it makes every type of particle on there.
All right, hello. My name is Rihanna Austinton. I'm in construction craft labors. And today I have for you my senior project. I did it on environmental remediation of asbestos and lead, and that basically means removal of pollution from the atmosphere. I have a work hazmat suit. This is what workers would wear typically when working with asbestos and any other hazards. And this right here is my product. Now this right here is a mock pipeline, and this is paper mache used as asbestos. And my point of the product was to get people to understand the process that workers have to go through when removing asbestos or lead from a given contaminated area.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Eblin. I'm from Norfolk, Massachusetts, and for my senior project, I did a solar hot water system. I'm from the HVAC&R program. Basically what it is a system that will heat up the domestic hot water in your house. This is my solar collector. This will be outside of your house, collecting sun rays all day to heat up the system. This is my circulator pump, which brings it all the way throughout the system. Water comes in here, coils in and around and leaves here, and that's constantly being heated all day by the sun. So what happens is when you call for hot water in your house by turning your shower on really hot or calling for hot water from a faucet, water from this tank, which will be coming through here, will leave here. So in March, we did a couple of tests on this. We had the inner box temp of this solar collector up to 110 degrees, and in here we had water coming out at 80 degrees in March. So that's it, I think.
Hi, my name is Leto Moscoso, and I'm from HVAC and R, and this is my system, geothermal. What you got here is an evaporator coil, and it's used to heat and cool your system. When you hear it, see, it's already cool, and this is a slinky loop, which is used for, it's most efficient to use at small houses. You have your horizontal and your vertical, and this is your compressor here, and it runs the refrigerant through your slinky loop up to your system where it can heat and cool your house. They're pretty efficient, but they are expensive at $35,000, but you got your savings in 3 to 5 years. And it's a growing industry for geothermal systems because it's very energy efficient and eco-friendly.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Bates. I go to Tri-County Regional Vocational Technical High School, and I'm in the HVAC program, and I'm graduating in 2013. This is my General Electric 1951 refrigerator. It's still fully operating and everything. I swapped out, I did actually a lot of body work to it, and I kept the same components. Everything is original from it, and I wanted to keep the CFC refrigerants from back in 1951 and restore it and not just get rid of it because it has a lot of chlorine atoms in it, which destroy the ozone layer, so it's important to keep it nice and sealed up. And that's why I decided to restore my refrigerator. Thank you.
So this is swimming pool wiring, and I have the lights here and a pump. And you can see here, half of it is finished with the cement and everything. The other half is cut open on purpose so you can see the equipotential bonding grid on the ground. And what that is, it reduces voltage gradients around the pool, which reduces the risk of electrical shock. And basically what it does is every metallic piece within 10 feet horizontally and 17.5 feet vertically is bonded to this, like a diving board or a fence, or if you had the cabana over there with gutters, you need to bond to it. The pool frame itself has to be bonded 4 times uniformly. I show 3 here. And I also have one hidden over here underneath the cement. If you want to come over here, you can see the pool frame underneath. And I have the pump here. I also have lighting. So if you want to look over here too, I have a ground fault circuit interrupter, which senses a change of about 0.5 milliamps. And in Article 680 of the code book, you need to have the lighting and the pump GFCI protected. So this GFCI protects this whole area, which go to these dedicated receptacles. This one on the left is for the lighting, and the one on the right is for the pump. They're being switched by these switches.